A Lincolnshire property company has defended threatening all of its tenants with eviction if they fail to pay their rent because of delays in receiving universal credit payments, after sending all tenants preemptive notices ahead of the rollout of the welfare reform. The letter from Gap Property in Grimsby was highlighted by Jeremy Corbyn during Prime Minister's questions in the Commons on Wednesday. Corbyn said tenants of the property management company face the prospect of being made homeless before Christmas. Theresa May said she would look into the particular case raised by the Labour leader. Gap Property said the introduction of universal credit would affect the vast majority of its tenants and it needed to take action to avoid a slew of rent arrears, which could put it out of business. The company's owner, Guy Pigott, told The Guardian the letter was not intended to be threatening and he was pleased it had been highlighted by Corbyn. "We are not planning to throw people out, but the Prime Minister should read this and recognise the problems, and see how people are not going to be able to feed themselves," he said. Universal credit is the supposed flagship reform of the benefits system, rolling together 6 benefits, including unemployment benefit, tax credits and housing benefit, into one, online-only system. The theoretical aim, for which there was general support across the political divide, was to simplify the benefits system and increase the incentives for people to work, rather than stay on benefits. The project was legislated for in 2011 under the auspices of its most vocal champion, Ian Duncan Smith. The plan was to roll it out by 2017. However, a series of management failures, expensive IT blunders and design faults have seen it fall at least 5 years behind schedule. There is a minimum 42-day wait for a first payment endured by new claimants when they move to universal credit. In practice this is often up to 60 days. For many low-income claimants, who lack savings, this in effect leaves them without cash for 6 weeks. The well-documented consequences for claimants of this are rent arrears, leading in some cases to eviction, hunger. Food banks in universal credit areas report striking increases in referrals, use of expensive credit, and mental distress. Plenty landlords are worried about the level of rent arrears racked up by tenants on universal credit. Unchecked, this will lead to a spike in evictions. Claimants complain that universal credit is bafflingly complex, unreliable, and difficult to manage, particularly if you are without internet access. Multi-billion-pound cuts to work allowances imposed by the former Chancellor George Osborne mean universal credit is far less generous than originally envisaged. According to the Resolution Foundation think tank, about 2.5 million low-income working households will be more than £1,000 a year worse off when they move on to universal credit. Universal credit is due to be rolled out across North East Lincolnshire from the 13th of December and new applicants will have a minimum 6-week wait for their first payments, though many have reported longer delays. Pigott said serving the notice now meant tenants had been given the mandatory 2 months notice and so could be evicted as soon as their rent payments fell behind.